Estamos na noite do Porto, algures. Estamos num belo sítio à beira-foz plantado. E estamos com alguém que está na nossa cidade, se chama Tracy Bonham. Fine. That's another story. Hi, Tracy.
Hello. How are you?
Tracy Bonham.
Yes.
Great to meet you.
Thank you. Nice to meet
It's
you.
your first time in this neck of the woods.
That's true.
In this country. So what's your first impression?
I
going on?
just got off the plane and I got to the hotel and then I met you and you brought me to the beach. And so that's all I've seen and it's the most beautiful place. I'm in a magical fairyland.
A Tracy nunca tinha estado em Portugal, é a primeira vez, fomos buscá-la à sua residência. A primeira sensação é conhecer o Porto, vir aqui para a praia, para a Foz, e está absolutamente encantada. Tracy, you are on tour right now. As a musician, you've been around for quite a while. I remember you in the 90s. Can you sort of like compare from time to time the 90s to what's going on today? Now you are more of a working musician than in those days.
Mm-hmm. Well, I feel like I've always been working, so no matter what was happening in the 90s or now or even before the 90s, I am a working musician for my life. So I knew I was going to be a musician from age 5. But yeah, in the 90s things were different because there was a lot more financial help to get out and reach the world. The record industry was different. Right? Absolutely. There was a lot of money to spend and I could tour the world and I could reach people and people would, there was radio. There was also a whole world of radio that doesn't exist now. There were so many things back then. It was kind of the riches of the 90s. And so now 22 years later, it's a completely different world. Completely different.
A Tracy explica que nos anos 90, e eu digo anos 90 porque foi aí que ela começou, com um single fortíssimo chamado Mother, que é a marca ainda hoje, e a indústria era completamente diferente. Havia uma coisa chamada dinheiro, havia rádio muito mais atenta, ou seja, tudo mudou, embora ela se considere uma trabalhadora, sempre foi, mas os anos 90 tinham essa, digamos, vantagem, ou seja, a vantagem da indústria do disco existir. Now the artist, it's like from the producer to the consumer, right? That's a different angle,
yeah.
But that's how it works right now, many times.
Yeah. Say that again. So
It goes from the producer to the consumer without the middleman.
Oh, yes, there's no middleman.
That's an advantage in a way.
There is an advantage, and back in the 90s, that was what I longed for, because the middleman was really in the way. And there was a rotating cast of characters of the middleman. So my record label changed, was bought and sold and merged, and there was always somebody new to come in, and that was my A&R guy. That was the guy that was supposed to help me communicate with the record label. And that person would always get in the way, never understand.
Some would get fired in the process.
He'd get fired, or he wouldn't understand. The new guy would come in and wouldn't understand what I'm all about.
Some new ideas, new trends, new metal came around.
And everything changed, and then they would have to translate, what I'm trying to do to what the new people want me to do, and often it was just a big waste of time.
A Tracy concorda comigo, ou seja, hoje temos diretos do produtor ao consumidor. Na altura havia o middleman, portanto a pessoa que definia os processos, eram despedidos, queria ir por um lado, o artista queria ir por outro, e portanto o processo simplificou-se. Hoje em dia é mais direto e portanto uma artista como a Tracy Bonham continua mais do que ativa e obviamente consegue comunicar com a sua audiência. Tracy, there's something you've done. You've done a lot of stuff since the 90s. I just mentioned the 90s because that's when you started, and I wanted to do a bridge from those days to these days and age. For example, your Ram session, your pure McCartney. That's something that could not be done then. These days artists get together, go on tour, create something, and here we go. That's where you are right now. This type of events.
Yeah, musicians now, at least in my generation, we reach out to each other more. Back in the 90s, I think we were competing against each other in a way. So we didn't really make a community as much. But now, something like Ram, which you're talking about, Tim Christensen from Denmark, who's very famous, recreated the entire album of Ram.
Note by note,
note by
chord
note,
by
tone
chord.
by tone, frequency by frequency.
And it's available on YouTube.
Yes,
I mean,
it's
meaning
available.
That you are alive, that you are working,
I am
that
alive.
you are-
If I'm on YouTube, I'm alive.
Yeah.
But no,
That's
it's
what my daughter says.
exactly.
Exactly.
If there's no pre-YouTube, like
before and
BYT,
after.
BYT. But yeah, now we help each other. In fact, I have an album. It's really important. My latest album that came out in 2017 is called Modern Burdens, which is a recreation of my original album. Yeah, and it asks of other women to come and join me. And this was a real communal event where the women that sing on these tracks, you know, they told me not only did my first album mean so much to them, and that's why they want
still
to.
does to a lot of people.
And
It
it's so
still
nice
does.
to hear. But to have that community now, that would have never happened in the 90s because I was always competing with these women to get the airplay or
And
something.
phone calls were expensive.
And phone calls were. Now we just tweet at each other.
Yeah.
We just tweet.
Há aqui momento importante desta conversa que é as novas possibilidades. Eu falei de álbum chamado Pure McCartney, que é uma homenagem ao álbum Ram, o primeiro do Paul Sol, em que a Tracy, com músicos dinamarqueses, construiu, nota por nota, acordes por acordes, igualzinho, uma forma de homenagem, ou seja, cooperação entre os músicos. Na altura em que ela, digamos, seria mais famosa, nos anos 90, a competição era maior. Hoje em dia, os músicos têm que se unir mais para sobreviver, porque obviamente não se vendem tantos discos. O último álbum dela tem 2 anos e é um álbum que tem uma referência ao seu primeiro, e é também um álbum cooperativo, um álbum onde traz e ela espera mais mulheres, ainda mais mulheres, para trabalhar com ela e ao mesmo tempo criar esse espírito de comunhão, não é? De comunhão, esse espírito de ligação e colaboração que é necessário. Great surprise. We had a couple of moments ago. First of all, we had a great meal, didn't
Yes,
we?
we did have a good meal. I'm really in love with this place.
Marisa. You know Marisa?
Yeah.
You're carrying a symbol.
I
You
am
can show
carrying
to the camera.
her symbol here. This is what she sells at the merch table, and here's her signature as the clasp. My son just recently went to her show in New York City, and he bought me this necklace.
And she's a well-known artist in America. I mean,
Very well, yeah, and she
she's a
played
world
Town
artist.
Hall 2 nights in a
2
row.
nights.
Yeah, and my husband's very close with her. So,
And
yeah, she's amazing. She's
so
incredible.
that's something you know about Portugal already. It's fado and it's musical tradition.
Beautiful.
Some guys wanted to know if you know about Porto wine, but
I know
You will.
about, well, I don't know about it. I have had it. And I will know about it. Yes.
in the town where
Yeah,
it's-
I mean, that's I was waiting. I was saving myself, kind of like a virgin, and now now I'm
we
planning
have the
on.
after show to party. Uma surpresa muito gira, porque a Tracy conhece a Marisa. Aliás, como viram, tem ao pescoço o símbolo da própria. Viram a sua família, que está ligada também à indústria musical. Viram-na ao vivo em Nova Iorque, quando a Marisa é, de facto, extremamente popular. Quanto ao vinho do Porto, claro que já experimentou, mas está na cidade do próprio, portanto terá um gosto completamente diferente. Now let's talk about the tour. You are touring Southern Europe, Galicia, into Vigo, or you're going to Vigo?
Going
as
to
well?
Vigo, yeah.
With Rachel Yamagata.
Yeah,
So
the incredible.
What's the type of collaboration? You're talking about collaboration.
Oh, collaboration.
How you do
Yeah.
your shows on the stage?
Okay.
There is a first part, second part,
Yes.
or you girls?
First part, second part. I'm the first part.
Okay.
You know, Rachel has been on tour. She's actually been on tour literally for 20 years. She's worked so hard.
Never-ending tour like the other guy.
Really just continuing to just hit it hard. You know, she came into the music business as I was, things were changing for me.
That's what we're
Yeah,
talking about.
and the difference with her career is that she, you know, started 20 years ago, and she's been, you know, she was signed to Warner Brothers for a while, but then mostly independent from then on out, and constantly touring. And so I'm joining her for 6 of the shows of her maybe 3-week tour. And I come out and I play some piano and I sing and I play violin. And then she comes out and she plays piano and guitar and she's got
You
a nice...
jam a bit?
Well, we do a jam. We sometimes jam a bit, and we are really good friends. We know each other from Woodstock. We live in Woodstock together.
Oh, yes. Oh, beautiful place. Hey, Woodstock aconteceu em Sócrates. Woodstock.
Well, actually, I have to correct you. It's Bethel,
Bethel,
where it was,
exactly,
which
right.
is 45 minutes
Yeah,
away.
That's
Yeah.
around the same area.
Yeah.
E há, claro, Woodstock é uma cidade de artes. Mas eu estava a falar da Rachel Yamagata, que está a fazer uma turnê, e a própria Tracy diz que faz uma turnê há 20 anos, é um bocado como a Bob Dylan e a Never Ending Tour, porque a Rachel Yamagata apareceu, digamos, como the next big thing, numa altura em que a indústria do disco estava a cair, e portanto é importante para os músicos hoje em dia, sejam americanos, ingleses, chineses, extraterrestres, tocarem ao vivo e não dependerem de discos. Num espetáculo, e vamos falar dele, há uma primeira parte, que é a própria Tracy, depois a Rachel é a headliner, mas juntam-se, há momentos de jam, há piano, há violino, são instrumentos que a Tracy toca. One of your future plans, it's something very important before we say where you're gonna play. You're gonna, it's called Drogaria.
Drogaria.
Yeah. Very
Okay.
good Portuguese. You're gonna go there.
Thank you.
It's your music school project
Yeah.
that you want to sort of like create. Tell us about it. Who knows if it has a branch?
Yeah, you
over
never
here.
know. I
You
see
never
some
know.
real estate already. So
Yeah, you told me. Tell us about it.
Yeah, well, one thing that's happening in the United States, which may be happening here or maybe in the world, I don't know, but music is becoming less and less a part of children's lives. Music education is. And I feel that music education made me who I am today. As a musician, as a person, as a human being, as someone who wants to connect with other people. But I'm seeing that in the schools, in particular, budget cuts, less and less. Public schools especially.
Are having a whack.
Yeah, exactly.
Everywhere. I mean, in the States.
Everywhere.
as well.
And I'm seeing it play out in the way our youth are growing up, and they're also watching their elders and their adults treating each other differently. There's more division. There's more, adults being irresponsible, making irresponsible decisions. And I feel that music as a curriculum in an early age is really important to unite and to, yes, exactly, to
break down the walls.
Break down the walls and to make your heart sing and want to share with other people. And I'm not seeing that. So what I want to do is I am planning and building a music school with a curriculum based on some original ideas that I have, but also this philosophy that I have, that music should be the tapestry for our lives.
Tapestry, one of my favorite albums.
I can't believe I said that, but it's
Miss
right?
Carole King,
Yeah.
come on.
Right?
This is great.
Yeah, what if we didn't have Carole King in our lives? Or
Oh,
what if
man,
she never played music?
I'll be in a loony house. Bom, a Tracy tem um projeto muito importante, que é um projeto de inclusão, que é um projeto de escola de música. Considera que hoje em dia há muita música, mas não há ensino, não há cuidado que houve noutros tempos. As escolas públicas, em especial nos Estados Unidos, têm neste momento problemas de orçamento e portanto, ela pretende abrir escolas de música que sejam inclusíveis, que não sejam apenas para aprender a tocar, mas para ter uma filosofia de inclusão num mundo cada vez mais dividido. É um dos seus projetos mais próximos. Tracy, what can we hear from you at Drogaria?
Drogaria.
What's your playlist? I saw at Setlist FM a
Okay.
few, but only the
Yeah.
last American tour you did.
Okay, yeah, I changed
couple
it a
months
little
ago.
bit.
I changed
Okay.
a bit.
What you're gonna hear is it's a selection of songs from most of the eras, most of the decades of my music writing. So I've got a little bit from my debut album, From Burdens of Being Upright. But it's not going to sound like the Burdens of Being Upright because I don't have my 90s rock band. So you have to...
You added grungy or after
grungy,
vibe.
rocky. This is going to be...
You did rock.
I did
You
rock.
did.
But What the great thing about music also is you have to reinvent yourself all the time, or at least I've had to reinvent, and I think a lot of artists have, if they want to withstand all the changes. So you reinvent your songs and yourself. And a lot of these songs, especially the ones from the 90s, I have to see if they stand up as a song. So I might play Mother Mother with just a shaker.
Yeah.
Or I might play something just on the violin. And if it's a good song, it'll stand up.
A Tracy explica que vai tocar todo o seu repertório, que já tem 3 décadas, desde Burdens até material mais recente. Poderá ter versões de canções usando apenas maracas, ou violino, ou piano, ou seja, vai adaptar aquilo que já criou aos tempos de hoje. Tem consciência disso mesmo e procura que as canções possam manter-se frescas e vivas e, portanto, estão convidados a aparecer no Drogaria. You know, you're gonna play in the drugstore, do you?
Drugstore?
Drogaria.
But it's not like the drugstore that I'm
No,
thinking of.
No.
That kind of drugstore? What kind of drugstore?
I'll leave you to your imagination.
I can't wait.
You have the cameras over there just to talk to everyone.
What do you? Hello, cameras. Hello, Portugal. I can't wait to see.
There.
Please come to Drogaria, and we're gonna have some fun in a place called Drogaria.
We will have Tracy Bonham. Até à próxima.